Okay, hello. This is Frenchy, and there has been basically zero movement on my project since my last video, but lots of planning, lots of thinking, lots of effort. I got tools laying around. I started as a cabinet maker. That's where my passion lay to, well, I guess, purchase this house and everything. It afforded me a lot of opportunity. A little golf here and there. Still got a couple tools left. Saws and drills. I literally just bought that though. I haven't bought a tool in a long time until recently. Oh look, I got another row dryer. But yeah, nothing. Oh hey, speaking of the woodworking, there's some pictures. Might get into them in a minute. Need to do a lot of cleaning, organizing. Protection, safety first, always easily accessible. I'm making a hammer because I bought a cross peen from Lowe's, but I'm going to make this like a little bit smaller head by taking those corners down. Yeah, here it is. The old Lowe's. I heard someone on YouTube say that inline peen might be better for making blades, so I'm making one. Kinda sporadic, but I've had a lot of these tools for a long time. And they've served me well. Those are new because I'm using my old files to make a knife, hopefully someday soon. Anyhow, I don't have much. Not starting out with much, but you don't need much, which is kind of nice. This used to be actually a wood shop. I used to have my shop in here. There might be some pictures of it actually. Uh-oh. Let's see. Man, I haven't looked through these for a while. Alright, what do we got here? That's a break front that I made for my father-in-law. Wow. I did it to match that piece underneath of it from Han. But he ran a business and so he wanted cubbies. Here's a piece for a local designer. Early 90s. Ribbon mahogany, black acrylic, steel, glass. Just kind of a buffet table or whatnot. It's a shop I worked at. These little things here, whenever we'd hire somebody, I would have them make themselves, you know, a place for their tools and whatnot. It's just kind of a way to gauge them. This, my baby's gone. So this is my 5 horsepower, 220 Powermatic reverse blade tilting table saw with, and I built a router table on the end of it eventually. Oh, so awesome. As you can tell, the difference. The difference, this was 1994. That corner of the shop is, there's the outlet panel, 100 amp service. I had him put in 200 amp service, and I put in a door and moved everything over and whatnot. So yeah, this was the fledgling stages of my shop. Wow, this is pretty cool. I still got a lot of these tools. I still got all the pliers and squares and stuff over there. But, you know, time changes things. Here's a job I did out of the garage in, I think, 95 with a designer lady. Even back then, working with the steel, I was like, huh, steel shelf. You want a steel shelf on top, huh? I'm going to have to find somebody to do that for me. So we subcontracted that out. Or I did. She had, you know, someone else do it out the specs of my casework, which is, you don't get any more rudimentary. Of course, she was feeling me out too, you know. I literally called every designer in the phone book back when there was yellow pages in 1994, 95, and asked them if I could come show them something. Oh, there I am. Asked her if I could come show her something and maybe make her something, you know, work with her, collaborate or whatnot. This is a piece, it's not a church, but it was pretty involved making each one of those doors by hand. Of course, I, you know, kind of made them piece by piece. You can count the pieces in it. It was quite a few. But of course, everybody that sees it says, "Was that a church?" It just has that Gothic, almost Mediterranean kind of Gothic, either or look. Oh, my youngest. That is 1994, I think. Wow. My first side job ever. 1988. I do believe 1988, yeah. It's an old German clock a guy had, and I asked my boss. Okay, he came in and wanted my boss at the time. We were doing van conversions. He says, "Hey, can you redo my clock for me?" And the guy's like, "No, we're too busy for that." And I just happened to be in the break room. I'm like, "Hey, Mike, it's Mike Stevens Custom Woodworking." I said, "Hey, I'll do that for him, you know, if you will let me." He's like, "Sure, yeah." So, God, it did. First side job ever. This is a bed I made for my son way back in 89, I think. Speaking of my son, there's him. I made my dad this little kitchenette in the basement that I grew up in, the house I grew up in. That piece there with the microwave on top of it, that's in my youngest daughter's house now. These children are adults now. He's 30 now. This is him and my oldest daughter in a speedboat seat that I made out of bendable plywood and whatnot. Oh boy. Planter for a nursing home. Oh goodness, yeah, I used to smoke. But that's my in-laws bought a gas station. So I put some casework in there. Me and an old boy named Buddy. Still got my Bosch, Swiss-made Bosch, the best jigsaw, bar none. Let's see, that's my old Bel Air compressor, 2-stage, 5-horse jacuzzi pump, really nice. But this is my wife's entertainment center I made her. Still the same house, old shop. Back when TVs were big and thick and bulky. Back when I needed ashtrays everywhere. There's a pull-out tray I had there for all my router bits and whatnot. I needed the irons for edge banding and sandpaper. Let's see, front view of it. Here's a job I did for an audio store. Charged him way too much. Kind of burnt that bridge, but he needed it real fast, real good. And I said, well, there's 3 legs to the stool, my friend. There's fast, as in speed. There's speed, quality, and price. And he wanted it good and fast. So if it's good and fast, I have to control the other one, which is price. So if they want it good and fast, it can't be cheap. Just have to know that, you know, as a businessman. If it's, you got to control one of those. Here's when it was in process. He wanted to come see it, and I put it together in my garage, and he freaked out a little bit. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you built it around that? Is that going to come apart?" Yeah. There's a little inlaid table. What's this from? It doesn't say, but it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably around 1990, 93. Inlaid laminate. Very kind of plain, and you can see the walls. A lot of times the designers like to match the walls and the designs with the colors and whatnot. That's kind of a theme in a couple of designs. This picture here, it's got my foot, or maybe my brother's foot or my foot. I made that lamp in 1983 in woodshop class. My brother made the guitar, and I made the table. My daughter still has it. It's got timbre doors and a bunch of storage and inlaid walnut. Oh, here's another picture of that one table. My goodness. Sorry, I didn't know this was going to be a long, boring video. Nurse's station. Nurse's station. Oh, this is interesting. This is the first year of the new Dodge Dakotas. The new body style changeover, I think, was 1990, 93 or 95 or something. Maybe even 97. I'm not really sure, but 96. But made a kicking box for it. Go in the back. And that, if anybody can tell me what that is, you win a cardboard cookie. And that's it. Oh yeah, bed frame to this bed. Now this bed kind of made me mad. My boss, if you see here, when this wood came in, I told him, I said, listen, I don't like this where the wood is white. This is white oak, and this was especially pithy. He's like, no, I'll just tint it. I don't want to go get extra wood. I'll just tint it. And this was already whitewashed. And as you can see, maybe you can't as much, but he did not do a good job tinting. He ran up into the top rail. It was just dumb. He should have just bought more wood. This is a gaming table I made. Blind splines. Very, very accurate. Blind spline, triple corner, and tapered walnut. This was a gaming table. Had a bird's eye maple top, and this was back, of course, with, you know, film. And the rest of the photos of it are gone. They never made the cut. This is a Anheuser-Busch conference table with inlaid brass. There it is in process. Putting finish on it. Gluing up leg panels. Wow. Here's an example of the inlay and the miter. Respirator, Safety first. Cool present. One of my favorite. I mean, possibly my masterpiece. If I had to choose one, you know, if I had one, it's like, hey, could you have anything you want back in your house? It would probably be this executive desk. It was at Monsanto. Of course, the only thing about that's a scratch on the paper, not on the piece. Trust me. Had a gang lock system from Hefala. Very, very awesome desk. Here's some leather, rawhide, and brass and mahogany. Just a real cool piece. And you know, I sent out this fiberboard to be flitch matched, book matched, and for them to do it right, and they got it wrong. I was so devastated. You can actually see the roller marks in that where I rolled it. It was put on with some real good contact adhesive. But I was so mad. I mean, you can see the depth of that. See how the skinny part is kind of on the right side, and it's on the right side of that too. It shouldn't have been like that. Oh, here. See? Skinny part, thick part. Like wheat and then stalks. So it should have been stalks and then wheat. It should have been just really, really bad, folks. That's really bad. And that's the only thing that I wasn't in charge of. Was I didn't have a press. We didn't have a flat press to book match all those raw sheets of veneer. And I tell you, here's some lacquer. Oh my goodness, the coats of lacquer we put on these tables. I probably put 10 coats of acrylic on these nesting tables. More lacquer. Little oriental Japanese flair. Full extensions. It was like a window seat. 30 seconds. Security guard desk at Monsanto. Cherry. Some faux finish in a dude's office. There it is in process. Goofy looking thing here. Insides of it. Here's an interesting piece. This had hammered copper in the back of it. Dimmable touch switch mounted in it. I can't remember where. With the blue and white stuff. I mean, pretty hoity-toity stuff. But again, they tried to make the wall kind of match with the blue and the copper and the white. So it was kind of gaudy, but you know, you do what the customer wants. Whether you like it or not, you know. I mean, I like the quality of it. Just I wasn't all about it. And here's an armoire television, kind of an armoire. Pretty cool. Oak. There's a little coffee stain kind of on the outside posts, and the crown and everything else was spatter finished. Talk about taking after it's done and finished, taking a toothbrush and dipping it in black ink and putting the little speckles in it, tastefully of course, and you can't mess up. It's just that easy. Some of it in process. All the molding was made by hand on this thing. Not the crown. Not the dental I'm talking about. Sorry, the plinths and the plinths and the flutes and whatnot, because they were stop flutes, you know. We didn't cut them. So it was all done by hand, according to plan. Here it is, with showing the base, and the drawers, of course, pulled out with part of their DVD, not DVDs. It was actually VCR collection even back then. Huh? Yeah. Well, that ran a little longer than I thought it would, but still some content. I'm so excited to start on this. I've just been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of watching. You know, a lot of credit I give to the people of YouTube, the makers out there, you know, from, oh boy, Big Dog Forge and Green Beetle and so many. So many. Who is that? Ninja Kid, Jina Ninja, you know, from the little bitty guys such as me, to your Alec Steeles that just do stuff every day and drop out of school and make it their life and take the chance, take the leap. It's those guys that really kind of made me think, wow, I can do that. You know, not become any kind of YouTube sensation, mind you. Just do something again. You know, I'm crippled now, and some of my doctors have actually told me it may have been the chemicals from cabinet making that did me in. So who knows? I'm alive. So anyhow, sorry this is longer than it should be. If you're still here by now, appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you soon when I get this forge going. Peace.